Ever.
First, amazing job, Tayo. During the pandemic, during the crazy times, to be able to do something like that during that is amazing. So hands down, amazing. So and then also, yeah, so really excited to be here, 10-year anniversary. Yeah, PhilPro, the first year was we didn't know what was happening. We got sent to the Philippines and they said, all right, once you go to the Philippines, fall in love and then go do something good when you come back, right? So that was the general idea. So so I'm JR Calanoc again. I have a 3-minute video and then I have a short presentation, but this is my legacy project.
Oh, JR, can you tell everyone what a legacy project is?
Oh, okay, so a legacy project, thanks for the questions. A legacy project is, remember when they sent us to the Philippines and they said, come back and do something good? That became official and then they called it legacy project. So each delegate goes to the Philippines, finds something that they really connect with and they really love, what they discovered in the Philippines, what they discovered in their heritage, come back to the US and make that connection, right? So that's a legacy project. And this was mine.
Yay. It's all about putting your physical space together, especially in the sort of time when you're finding $100.
Hi, my name is JR Calanoc with Dynamico Space, where we focus on empowering global entrepreneurs. We do that in 3 ways. First, we provide a productive and collaborative co-working space, create open areas, conference rooms, and private offices so your business can focus on where it's at. Second, we provide services such as software development, digital marketing, mentorship programs. That way, you as an entrepreneur can focus on your core product. And third, we create a collaborative community where we get people together both here in San Francisco and internationally, allowing them to be.
The Philippine Consulate General in San Francisco has an existing memorandum of understanding with Dynamico Space. I had the privilege of signing that MOU last year. The overall objective is to promote the Philippine startup industry. And Dynamico Space, they have a good network, they have good connections and access to technology founders and leaders, innovators.
My name is Vidya Nag. I am a medical entrepreneur who started a company out of Stanford. I love the health tech space. I love working with companies that are doing exciting things in health tech. And now I've been at Apple for 8 years, also with health. I made it to Forbes 30 under 30 list, Fortune 40 under 40 list. We were named one of the best, most innovative technologies of its time. We were so fortunate when we were starting our company to have incredible mentors, and I think the role mentors can play are asking tough questions, helping you see around corners. Like really more of a coach, a cheerleader, someone that's like, so think of the call when you call it. And I think it's Alex, if you don't know, it's really was a cheerleader champion. And I think that's what I like to do for the next generation.
My name is Seth Morse, and I'm the CEO of a startup company called Apollo, and we are a solar panel manufacturer. I found out about Dynamico from Google, and then I get here and I meet JR and the Dynamico team, and everyone is super friendly, and it's like I'm part of a community. Even though I work from home and I don't have any coworkers, I feel like I do have coworkers, which is a good feeling. In addition, Dynamico also offers website marketing material, intro PPTs. Dynamico has helped me do all of that with very high quality material. I've gotten compliments on it already with that.
The fact that Dynamico built these businesses in a box, it just makes it so easy for startups to come and hit the ground running.
Lastly, we like to have fun. We believe that mental health and work-life balance is absolutely important for me. So we try to get out on that hike, group bike ride, or the occasional ski trip. We'll see you at Dynamico Space. Part of the technical difficulties there.
One over, one over.
Sorry, everything's a little slow. Nine, eight, one, two, four.
He's a pilot, he has 2020 vision.
Yeah.
Interesting thing about JR, aside from well, waiting. Yes, he is a pilot. He's also a scuba diving instructor, and he is an avid motorbike rider. So if you want to learn all those things too, you can learn that from JR. A legacy project, like JR mentioned, is something that when you become a PhilPro delegate, you go back to the Philippines, you try to find something that you are passionate about. We good?
Awesome. Thank you.
Oh,
Lucky.
we'll continue about legacy projects later.
All right, great. So, okay, so yeah, sorry about the technical difficulties on the video, but it gives you a good idea of what we're doing. So Dynamico Space, we're a co-working space on the third floor of the Philippine Consulate building in San Francisco. We have a 20-year lease there. So until my kids are in college, we have this, right? So thanks, Lucky, for the introduction. A little bit about myself. Again, I'm batch one. I feel like the activity this morning was so good. You got to know everybody, and I wish we could all just talk about ourselves for 5 minutes. So my legacy project actually was Panalo Solutions, or a company called Panalo, where, so quick story. I went to the Philippines with Phil. I walked into a game development company, AJ, right? Game development company. I had a motocross game on my phone. And I'm like, oh, I really like this motocross game. He's like, oh yeah, come into this room with me. So I walk in there with him. It's like, yeah, that game. Yeah, here's where we made that design, that specific game. I'm like, oh, nice. You must have you're outsourced. They had to do the graphics. Well, come here. Then he goes, oh, this is where we did the 3D interface. I'm like, oh, okay. So they outsourced the work. All right, great. Oh, this is where we launched it. I'm like, what the heck's going on here, right? Right. So, and this is during our immersion program. So when I went back to the US, I did more digging. And I found out US companies outsourced to China, then they outsourced to India, and then they outsourced to the Philippines. So we had like third dibs, right? So that's what I learned during my during the immersion program. So I said, okay, Panalo is a company that's going to cut out the middleman. We're gonna have an office in States in San Francisco and go direct to consumer. What that happened is it allowed our employees in the Philippines to get paid more. They're buying cars, buying condos. They're just, because they're getting paid more, right? Because they're going direct to the companies here in the US. And when I first started, the companies here in the US were like, oh, there's graphic designers in the Philippines. I'm like, yeah, are you kidding me? Like some of the best in the world, right? Yeah. And so anyways, so that was how Panalo got started through the immersion program. And Dynamico, about 3 years ago, one of my goals was, okay, how do I expand Philippine talent and let everybody in the world know that Philippines is amazing? And how do we foster Phil-Am technology, right? Tech startups. Well, let's build a space, a hub here in the US, right? And let's partner with the government. We're the first we're the only public-private partner in the tech space with the Department of Foreign Affairs here in the US. So, so that's very cool. So, I'm former president of PhilPro. That was exciting times. I was batch one. So a little bit about myself. I have two boys, a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old. So that in itself is an adventure in life. I do fly planes for fun. I finished 3 Ironmans. I did one with my wife, and she beat me by like 2 hours. Yeah. Anyways, so yeah. Just standing at the finish line with like a blanket. Are you okay? I'm like, well, and my favorite passion is scuba diving in the Philippines. So if you're ever in the Philippines, I'm happy to take you diving anytime. Okay. So our real goal is, one of the things we came up with is we want to empower the global entrepreneur. Because we're here in San Francisco or in the US, we want to be inclusive, right? It's not just Phil-Am communities, but that's my secret goal. It's like the Phil-Am techpreneurs, right? All right. How do we do this? The plan was we do it in 3 ways. We build a space where you can work, so it's legit, right? And it's in the heart of San Francisco. We look, like we're real, right? Then we provide services, the business in a box, right? You have a business, you come in, you're a Filipino-American startup, we'll help you build your site, we'll do your marketing, we'll help you do your software development, whatever you need, or nothing, right? Whatever you need so that you can focus on your core values, right? You can focus on your business. And then the mentorship programs, I'll talk a little bit about that. That's really the key. Trying to figure out how to build a really good mentorship program, because when I was starting 10 years ago or 15 years ago with my other business, it was tough to find mentors. So you guys are so lucky that you have, like amazing, you're around amazing people, right? So I was talking to some of the Phil programs, like, what were you guys doing when you were 20? Did you have mentors when you were 20? So it's so good. Take that opportunity. It's so cool. Okay, so a little bit about the space. I'll go through this fairly quickly. Again, we're connecting San Francisco, Silicon Valley to the Philippines. We want to show people in Silicon Valley that there is value in the Philippines, that we're amazing, right? So we've been doing that for a while, 10 years now with Panalo, but Dynamico is the new venture to try to get that message out. Okay, and then people in the Philippines, right? This is how you pitch. This is how you enter the US market. This is how you get in there. We have yet to see, we've seen a Philippine technology unicorn already, right? $1 billion company, but we haven't seen, it's not really flowing yet. We don't really have Philippine tech companies coming here pitching and getting funding yet, right? So that's our goal. Like, we want to make that happen, right? Or Phil-Am company here really get fund. We have some companies that have gotten funded that have done well, but they need to get out there. Okay. We're in the heart of San Francisco. So PhilPro alum and members, if you ever need an office address in San Francisco for the next year, use our office address. Get a hold of me. So say you need to launch a business in San Francisco, you use our address, put it on your website, 1 year, no charge, just put that there. If anybody has meetings in San Francisco, just come to San Francisco, let me know, I'll give you a key, it's 24/7, come to the office and just have meetings, do whatever you want. You have legal clients in San Francisco, use the office. That's an open invitation to PhilPro members, 100%. Yeah, okay, so timeline. 2019, we signed the lease. I started construction in 2020 during the pandemic. We put about $2 million into the fixing the place up, doing the demolition, all the renovation stuff. So we did that during the pandemic. So I know how hard it is to run something, during the pandemic, right? So June 2021, we did an MOU signing with the DFA. So we didn't really see things pick up, right? Until 3 or 4 months ago, return to hybrid starts for tech companies. And then that's when we started seeing people coming in. So we feel like now is the time to really get out there and start marketing, what we're doing, and get out there and just, and start letting people know what we're doing. Yeah, the place is 10,000 square feet. This is what it looked like before. All the demolition, and that's kind of what it looks like now, right? So before and after. Okay. Yeah, we talked about that already. Okay, mentorship program. Okay, so Dynamico has a mentorship program both for Filipino companies coming to the US and for Phil-Am entrepreneurs here. Okay, you don't have to be in San Francisco, we can always collaborate. The mentors that we have are all Silicon Valley entrepreneurs and tech folks. They come from companies like Google, Apple, Facebook, Uber. And really what we're trying to help with is, how do you raise funds? How do you have successful exits? How do you mentor companies to building products? How do you create strategy? How are you a leader in your industry? Like if you're a tech founder, how do you do the CEO stuff? If you're a CEO stuff, how do you deal with the tech stuff, right? So we really built a really great group of mentors. So the mentors there. Actually, I have about 15 really great mentors. What do you think? How do you think these guys got? We have like 1 or 2 Filipino mentors. How do you think we have about 15 total mentors right now? How do you think the non-Filipino mentors became connected to the Philippines and wanted to do this?
Your education. They need people. Partnerships.
Meeting people, partnerships. Some.
They are.
Yep. Right. Some, yes. So yeah. So you're in your network, right? In your network. So some of them, yes, like in the network, they have Filipinos. So we talked up the Philippines and how amazing the Philippines, right? Some of them hired Panalo before, and like they're like, wow, all these are Filipinos. A few of them, really to draw them in, we took them scuba diving in the Philippines. Just like our immersion program, right? They came back here and they were like, okay, what can I do to help the country? What can I do? Right? So we're actually planning a scuba trip for VCs in November. If you know any VCs that are wanting to go, we're gonna take VCs over there. It's a scuba trip, but then we'll show them a little bit of the startup world when we're down there, right? So that's the other plan, the evil plan. Okay, so really quick on how the mentorship program works. We match somebody. Basically, you have a pitch session. You come in, you do your pitch, 5-minute pitch, 5-minute discussion. And then if a mentor finds your project to be good and a match for them, they take you on. Then you engage. It's a 2-month engagement with one-on-ones every 2 weeks, similar to our program here, right? Why is it once every 2 weeks? So you can implement fast and you can change fast. And the whole goal is to get to pitch night, right? Where we get investors to come in and then they do a virtual pitch night or actual physical pitch day or demo day at the space, right? And then lastly, you collaborate. So startups that go through the program connect with the other startups that go through the program and all the mentors. So this next week, 27, 28, 29, these are some of the top companies in the Philippines or top tech hubs, Idea Space, Kubo, and UP Scale, University of the Philippines. Tech Group, Innovation Hub. They have 5 startups each, and they're all pitching at Dynamico to our mentors this week. So I'm really hoping we get like 2 or 3 startups that are ready to pitch, right? Are ready to say, hey, what's the problem? How am I going to fix it? Right? How am I different from everybody else? And then how am I going to make money? That's the things that you need to know, right? So I'm really hoping some of the companies do really well. So that's coming up. Okay, so that's the mentorship program. The last thing, this is something we're trying to get funding for right now with the Department of Foreign Affairs, is the Silicon Valley Immersion Program, right? So if you're a Filipino startup, we'll take you to the US, right? We'll show you Google, we'll show you Facebook, we'll show you LinkedIn, right? But here's the difference. We're gonna have you tag along with one of the mentors and have a day in the life of a startup founder, right? Okay, so what are the decisions that I have to make throughout the day? What are the what's my process? Some of these guys are saying, well, I wake up and I meditate, then I go do this, which is great. Like, oh, that's all really good. I go to the gym, right? And then I go to work and I hammer it out. Right? All of that stuff is like, then you see somebody else that does something else, right? So it's great to see that day in the life of these mentors. All right, and then it also ends up with a demo pitch day as well. Okay, so see, these are some of the mentorship startup events that we've had already in the past. Philippine Startup Night. This was a Swiss executives reached out to us, found us on Google. They're like, okay, we want to invest in companies in Southeast Asia. Sweet. So we had a pitch night, right? There's some stuff in the works there. University of the Philippines with Dynamico Mentors. This one is great. Trisha Bantigue, how I got funding mixer. Trisha Bantigue, she actually, I don't know if she applied for Philippines, but she was too young at the time. She raised $6 million in a company called Queen, and they provide outfits for beauty contests. Rent. It's like Rent the Runway, but for a pageant. Yeah. She went through Y Combinator, funded. Awesome. Kevin, right? Philpro alumni. Kevin, Philpro alumni. He started Plantina. It's in the Philippines. It launched in the Philippines. It's in the Philippines, they connected with 7-Eleven. If you want credit, we'll look at your phone, and based on how you put in your contacts, it's like checking your credit score. If your phone is organized, they'll give you credit. Very simplified version of their app, but that's what they launched. They got about 3 million in funding, and they're running right now in the Philippines. So they're on it, right? So they had an event about how I got funding mixer and all that stuff. So Kevin, Philpro alumni, right?
Legacy project.
Legacy project,
Yes.
exactly.
With Earl.
With Earl Valencia, who's also
Also an alumni.
an alumni, right? So very cool to for Philpro. Okay, last few things. We also have a Silicon Valley expansion program package for Philippine companies. Okay, this we stumbled upon accidentally, right? Companies started asking us, hey, because they would visit and we would do presentations. They're like, hey, I want to expand my business in the Philippines to the US, right? How do we do that? Oh, because I heard you guys are the bridge. Well, all right. So basically, what happened was we connected them with legal support. What type of visas do they need to come set up shop in the US? We provide them a physical location because apparently you need an office, you need a logo, you need a desk, you need a computer in an office when you get audited to make sure that you actually have an office here. And we provide them with marketing and salespeople that they pay part-time or full-time in the US. And on my previous slide, Ortigas Land, Myad, which is a video production company, and one import-export company are now members of Dynamico, and we're talking with a few others, right? So that's really the bridge is actually happening, which is really exciting for us. Okay, so since we turned everything on, we have 4 startups that signed up, and this is during the pandemic when there is no demand for office space, right? So yeah, SyncQuote, they're a crypto company, Aware healthcare company, Apollo DT, they're really great startups that have that are members at our office. We have several virtual addresses, but we're doing a lot of events and conference rentals. What's really interesting was Center for Asian American Media. They came in and they did like several day workshops, and it was so exciting just to be around, right? Okay. Partnerships. Whoops. Okay. And I've got a few minutes left, so I'll just finish up with some of the events that we've had that I thought are really interesting. The PhilPro Roadshow with Lizelle. So she came to San Francisco and we got the locals there and we all got together and we talked about PhilPro. So I'm excited for the next one, whenever we're ready for that one. Filipino artisan pop-ups. So we had Filipino textiles and food pop-ups, chocolatiers, right? They came up, artists, clothing companies. They came there and they did a big pop-up, and it was really exciting to have that. Import-export people that want to get into exporting products in the Philippines. We had an event for that. I thought that was really great. So this was an event that we had last week. Mental health check-in for entrepreneurs. So I know there are some people in here that are in mental health, in the mental health space. Yeah, so we have to talk, right? This was a great event. A lot of people showed up, a lot of entrepreneurs showed up. Danica Jacinto, University of the Philippines, they went to Stanford for her MBA. She gave a talk about how entrepreneurs and Filipino Americans can deal with stress and be while running a company, right? So that was such a great event. So that was the last one that we had. Okay, and I'll end with an ask to the PhilPro family. Let's connect and collaborate, right? So I'm at JR Callan on IG. Let me know how I can support, how can Dynamico support your business, right? Or support your legacy project, right? What can we do to collaborate, right? What can we do to collaborate? We're at Dynamico Space, so we've just started again, the world is opening up, so we're launching all our stuff. So at Dynamico Space, you'll see what's coming up, but it would be great to collaborate and work with you guys. One last thing, we're doing a speaker series where we want to feature amazing Phil Am entrepreneurs. So I'll be reaching out to you guys to try to feature you guys on our stuff. So thank you very much. Yes.
I have a question, but so I'm the incoming president for the American Association. This is a really fantastic having this, and I see especially with the great people in the Philippines and the United States. From the legal standpoint, I think there's also a lot of crossover. I think that we can certainly help with. And I think this would be fantastic for us to kind of work together with PhilPro, with Dynamico, with the other organizations. And more specifically, I'm not a partner in my law firm. However, I do work at an law firm, big law. And we have a program that is targeted towards new entrepreneurs, folks who are looking to based in private companies, and it's for reduced rate for legal services. But legal services is from international law. So we would be able to help you with really robust Asia representation. We also have our own consulting company, but then we also have an amazing IT team, killer parts of people, and in Silicon Valley as well.
You know that's what's needed in Asia, right? IP, 100%, right? We were talking about that, right? So absolutely, let's connect. This is exactly why PhilPro is amazing. Right?
This is the bridge.
Yeah, exactly. Great.
Wow. Thanks so much, Kate.